everyone, welcome back to Tiresome. Today we are fixing my Vipers. That's right, everyone. Almost immediately after putting the nice air filter and servicing the car and everything, it broke again. Seriously, if you've got a YouTube channel and want to make content, you should get a Scimitar, because it gives it to you. It gives you content all the time. But yes, unfortunately this time it is the wipers that are broken, and in England that is an issue. So the problem is, these wipers... pretty much ever since I put it back on the road, the wipers, if the windscreen's not necessarily that wet, and I mean, like, you want to use your wipers, but maybe you could get away with not, that's not enough rain for the wipers to be able to smoothly go across the windscreen. You really want it to be quite wet, so that's an issue. And the other day I was driving my girlfriend to work, and we just went up the road. I went to use the indicators, the wipers, and they stuck up a bit, which is nothing abnormal. That's kind of, you know, that's what is expected from these wipers, at least in my experience. And usually the fix is get out, give them a nudge, and then they complete their cycle, and they're usually good to go from that point. But in this situation, it wasn't quite enough rain. Like, I could drive through it. I would have liked them, but I could drive through it. It wasn't too bad. So I thought, oh, you know what, we're only a few minutes away, so I'll just wait and get there, and when she gets out to get into work, she could give them a nudge then. She did, and they completed a revolution, but then they never worked again. And teamed with this, we also, off camera, a few days before, replaced the indicator stalk, because I'm fat, and when I got in the car once, my pocket got caught on the indicator stalk and bent it down. It was been put right between my legs. Funnily enough, though, it still worked, but so we had to replace that. Luckily I had a spare one in the shed, but it seemed a bit coincidental that we changed the stalk, and then moments later, or at least, you know, a couple of days later, the wiper stopped. But I tried a different switch on that. It's not the stalk, so I tried the fuse box. It's not that, and then I got the voltmeter out, put it on the plug there, and there's electricity getting to that absolutely fine. So the issue is indeed the motor, and as you can see, I've got that laid out perfectly here. Look at that, brand new one. And that's fabulous. It says it's made in England. I got it on eBay for 55 quid. But to be honest with you, I don't know how good it's going to be at that price. I got new brackets as well. And there's like a cushiony pad that goes behind it. So that is going to be good, hopefully. And it's one of these things that I'm hoping will completely change the... You know, because it's one of those little anxiety-inducing things when you push the wiper button. Are they going to go through? Do you have to pull over when it's fucking raining and sort the wipers out, or is it going to work all right? Little side project that we're going to do today is I'm going to paint that side of the engine bay where the wiper motor is. I figure if we're taking the wiper motor all off and everything, I may as well get the battery out, give it a quick sand down and a clean, and then just fog it with some black paint. And I'm going to slowly work my way around the engine bay. The next bit that I'll actually do is this bit here, the front left here, because the expansion tank is, well, that'll be coming up very shortly, that video, maybe even the week after this one. But for right now, we're going to concentrate on that bit. So let's crack on. Just unplug my little wiring loom from the back there. And there's some bolts holding it to the car. Or nuts, should I say. Nuts holding it to the car. Okay, now I've got to disconnect the actual rack from the motor itself, which means I'm going to have to expose the gearbox inside. Got to remember those two connectors that go on the top of there. I'll probably forget that, just like a firing order. Woo! And we've got an earth strap on the bottom one there. We will definitely want that, because fiberglass cars need as much earthing as they can get. Cool. Right, there's those four, and there we go. There's our rack. Brilliant. So I'm assuming we undo it from here.
and then it's... Oh, I see, okay. That's connected there to that. Fun fact, this gear in here has got nylon teeth around. Those teeth were actually worn down many years ago, and me and my dad turned that gear around already so that it could use the other side of the gear to get some purchase. But let's figure out how to disconnect this. I guess it's this circlip bit. It's got like a spring clip on it here, so long nose pliers I reckon for that. Come on little fella. There we go. So there's the little circlip off, and there's a bush in the middle of the bit with a washer on it as well. And then, oh god, that arm comes out. Okay. Sure, and now that's free. Okay. And I mean, realistically, this should just lift out now. Shouldn't it? He says. What's... Oh, I see. where I've put my fuel cut-off switch here for, you know, when I'm in an accident, or if I'm in an accident or roll over, that'll stop the fuel pump to stop it squirting fuel everywhere over my dying body. But one of the screws that I put for it is actually also sticking that bracket down there. Now, this isn't the end of the world, because I wanted to take this out anyway so I could paint this part. So we will take it out, hopefully. Right, this should now lift out. Ah, amazing. Look at it. It looks like the wiper motor off the Titanic, doesn't it? And there you go. There's those fibre teeth on that gear. Lovely. Okay, so we've also got our little rubber pad there, which has become one with the car, but we'll take that out. We do have a replacement one of those as well, as I showed earlier, and that's great. We can actually get in here, give it a bit of a clean, bit of a spruce, and then just fog it with a bit of paint, I reckon. Now, I don't know how much of this hardware is going to be included inside the new wiper motor, so I'm going to keep it all clean until we know. As mentioned, I want to get the battery out as well. So we shall. Also, in true tiresome fashion, there's a strict time limit for this, or else we'll lose the shop! No, I wish I even had a shop. But the, there's a yellow forecast rain, ironically, later on today. And that means that, luckily I don't have to be anywhere. But my point is that I only have a certain amount of time to do this, and that means that I'm going to fog this with paint and then instantly put everything back together and not even let it dry. So that's fine, don't worry about it. There we go, there's our relatively empty side of the car. So let's give it a little fog, shall we, with some cleaning stuff. I have this Gunk foam engine degreasant. I haven't used a Gunk product in ages, but hopefully it's good enough to be able to battle some of that. And I mean, I'm going to be using a lot of this in future. I've got to do some cleaning up and wire brushing under this car, well as the red thing. But yes, Gunk, let's give it a squirt. Train! Wow! That is so cool. I hope it's not expanding foam. That would be a pain in the arse. I probably don't need to tell you, don't do this. Cover all your electrics in solvents. That's probably not a good thing to do. But it's my car, and I will. I'm going to get some blue roll now and agitate it. Good, that looks no different so far. Oh, a washer. That's probably off something I did years ago. Here's what we're working with. You can see the battery box is ripe and ready to go. The other stuff there, sure. I mean, this is not going to be a good way. This is not the way you should do it. I already know there's already so many people thinking, oh, this isn't how you do it. Why are you telling people to do it? I'm not telling anyone to do this. I'm telling you not to do this. This is how I'm doing it, okay? It's crap, but it'll be better, hopefully, he says, than it looks right now. I want to be painting sort of from the front there up to
sort of the fuel cut-off switch there, and then the rest of this stuff here, the wiper, or sorry, the water jets, and the coil which sits underneath there. You can't quite see it, but we'll do on a separate bit in future. But we'll do to the front there, just whilst it's all off, you know, make it a bit easier while I can. Right, let's get the paint. And here we go. For paint, I have anti-gravel oversprayable medium solid black paint. I guess it's supposed to be like bed liner in a can, but I don't think it will be that. I think it's going to be much worse than that. We'll see. That's better. That's definitely better. Yeah, look at that. Getting there. I don't know if it's better. We'll see. Okay, now, by some miracle, I did actually manage to get that out. So we will put it in. I don't remember what orientation this was when I took it out. So I'm going to have to adjust that, I guess, when I got the rack attached. So I'm going to have to put the rack on and then figure it out from there and then adjust that. Right, what I'm going to do whilst that's in place is just see what the wipers are going to do. See if the motor even works at this point. Right, so what happened then? It pulled the whole mechanism out that way and then lost the gear. To be honest with you, it was probably in park when it, you know, when it arrived, and I should have measured this gear up with the wipers in park in correlation with the rack as well. Probably, I don't know. We're learning. For science, let's have a look. Yeah, I just want to have a go. Hopefully, it doesn't pop off again. Ah, no motor. Right, I'm just going to press the inters now. I reckon it works on resistance. And I reckon if I actually pin that together properly, so it doesn't just fall apart, then I reckon we'll be onto a winner. However, that bush that was in there has flown far away and I don't know where it went at all. So we have to locate that first, but then we should be in business. Maybe. A little bit. I've now got, I know it looks the same, but I have put this back in now. This gear, I have put a circlet back on the rear of it, and I think down there, I see my little spacery bush thing. Now then, that's in. But the question is, will it work? No, is the answer. If I close this, you'll be able to see the wipers sort of attempt to move, but can't. There you go. So they just kind of get trapped there, which is the same symptom I had before, but the rack moves freely. So yeah, that's quite weird, because, I mean, they move it, like that's the symptom I had, you know, before, when I was telling you they try to move but won't, and then you have to let it go and get wet, and then they can move freely. Well, I'd say that's probably worse than it was before. And now, this would sort of lean towards wiper rack, right? Like the wiper rack or one of the wheel boxes is seized and is causing then extra pressure and resistance against the wipers, causing the motor to not be able to do it, blah, 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 blah. But I can move the wipers freely, and when I was adjusting the, you know, the gear with the little pin on it to adjust that, I was moving the wiper rack back and forth freely, and that's new-ish. I mean, maybe between 5 and 6 years old, the wheel boxes and the wiper rack. We already did all that and greased it all up and everything, so I'm almost certain that's not the case. Why can't the wiper move? Why can't the motor move the wipers is the question. Why doesn't it have enough balls? Right, I'm just going to have one more go
This time I'm just going to start the car, see if that gives it an extra bit of power to maybe move them forward. I think what the issue may be is, well, my fuse box is crap, and it might be that the previous motor had actually even more power than this one, but I think trying it with the engine off is a bit of a, you know, it's a bit unfair, so let's start it up. Well, there we go. Unfortunately, that's pretty much as good as it's going to get, I reckon. Lovely. Technically, it's a success. I replaced the motor and it works now. However, the original issue of it not having enough power to be able to overcome the resistance of wipers on a window is still there, and actually worse than it was before. The window was actually quite wet that time. It is raining now. I hope you appreciate me. No, I had, but you know what? It's pretty much more research, this one, isn't it, rather than a complete success. But hey, the new wiper motor's in. I'm really happy. I actually did some paint as well, man. It genuinely looks so much better under there. And I'm gonna quickly pack everything away, park the car, and get in before this rain gets too much worse. Thank you very much for tuning in, everyone. We'll see you in the next one. Maybe we'll solve this. Well, we're going to have to solve this at some point, because this is my daily driver and I live in England. Bye!